Hey there friends, it's me Peter, and welcome to another edition of Peter's Storytime High School Edition. Now, as you've clearly noticed, I have not been doing these stories in any particular order. I started doing them in January, and when I did my January story, I did it about something that happened to me in January. Same thing with the February story. The story I told in February happened to me in February. And then so on with March, April, May, June, and July. So it should come as no shock to anybody that this month's story will feature something that happened to me in August. Well, what could possibly have happened to me in August during the school year? Well, one very important thing happened to me in August. And it was one August in particular that something very important happened to me that had to do with high school. And it touches on the 1 year of high school I have not discussed yet. That, of course, being my freshman year at New Trier, and specifically, my first few days of school. I started attending New Trier High School in August 2003, which was my freshman year. I had just graduated from Marie Murphy Junior High a few months earlier in June. June 3rd, 2003 was the date I graduated. No, don't ask me why I know that off the top of my head. And I'm not gonna lie, while I was really excited to start off at New Trier, I was also really nervous. Because when I graduated from Marie Murphy, there were 82 people in the graduating class. If I really wanted to, I could name all 82 off the top of my head. I won't do that for you, but quite honestly, I could name all 82 of them. My graduating class at New Trier had over 1,000 in it. And no, I cannot name everybody in my graduating class. I probably couldn't even name a quarter of the people in my graduating class. So you can imagine I was pretty nervous getting ready to start out at New Trier, although I was also excited at the same time. Fortunately, New Trier is aware that it's a very big school, and they do everything they can to make it comfortable for the incoming freshmen. What they do is they put everybody in an advisor group. They organize the advisor groups by gender, so every male advisor group has just males in it, and every female advisor group has just females in it. And in addition to putting you in an advisor group, there are at least one, maybe even two people from your junior high graduating class that are with you. So going into my freshman year, I knew that I was going to have Mr. Howard as my advisor, who was a kinetic wellness teacher, and that was pretty much it. I didn't know who anybody in my advisor group was going to be. I didn't know who from Marie Murphy was going to be with me. Quite frankly, I was going in blind, pretty much. But I wasn't going in completely blind, because in addition to the letter from Mr. Howard, we also got a letter from a senior named Mark, who told us that he was going to be our senior helper, basically helping to guide us through our freshman year as someone who was an upperclassman and who had been there before. And within that letter contained an invitation to a get-together at Mark's house where we would be able to meet most, if not all, of the guys in our advisor group. Well, immediately I signed up and said yes, because I was really curious as to who was going to be in my advisor group. So on that Saturday, my mom dropped me off at Mark's house, and I walked in, I met Mark, I met Mr. Howard, and I started mingling with people I didn't know. But fortunately, that situation changed very quickly, as moments after I arrived through the door, Lowell, who had been one of my pretty good friends from Marie Murphy, walked in as well. Turns out Lowell was in my advisor group. And then minutes after that, Swit walked in. Now, Swit and I hadn't been great friends, but I at least knew who he was. And a few minutes after that, one of the three Davids that was in my Marie Murphy graduating class walked in as well. Now, this particular David I wasn't really too close to, but we were friendly, so I thought we'd get along okay. So after the advisor group kind of met and talked for a little bit, we decided to go to the park and play a few icebreaker games, if you will, kind of getting to know each other and whatnot. So we go to the park, and then not long after we get to the park, I see another familiar face, this guy Kong, who had gone to Avoca and Marie Murphy, but later transferred to another school. But he had transferred to a school that was in New Trier Township, so that meant I was going to have yet another person I knew in my advisor group. And honestly, knowing that Lowell, Swit, David and Kong were all in my advisor group made me calm down a little bit, because I was in such fear that somebody I did not get along with was going to be in my advisor group, and somebody that I was going to be mortal enemies with, because I did have a couple guys at Murray Murphy that I did not want to be in the same advisor group with. And I'm not going to say who they were, but they know who they are if they're watching this. A few days later, Mark invited us to the freshman campus located in Northfield, which I've shown you a few times on here before, and told us he was going to give us a tour of the campus. And we did. We went on a tour of the campus. I didn't really absorb too much, but it was nice seeing the campus, going in and out of all the buildings, and finding out what was going to happen. And then 2 days after that was the big day. Now here's what I remember from that day. I want to say both my parents dropped me off. I can't remember perfectly, but they dropped me off in the drop-off lane. I get out, I walk up the stairs, and my advisor group was in the D building, which you can see right from the front of New Trier. It's like the front building right there. So I walk up the steps, I walk up, and there's a huge crowd because they haven't opened the doors yet. And boy, were there a lot of people in that crowd I didn't recognize. But fortunately, I did find two people I did recognize. My friends Kevin and Billy, who were both from Murray Murphy. So immediately I located them, and I think the two of us talked for a few minutes. Can't really remember too well. And then the doors opened, and my freshman year began. And then I located my advisor classroom. I sat down in a random seat. I waited for all my classmates to take their seats. The bell rang, and with that, freshman year had officially begun. Now, the first day of school at New Trier is an abbreviated day. Basically, all they do is just go over kind of the rules of the school. They go over the guidebook. I think they assign lockers. And then they give you your schedule, which really meant nothing to me because I didn't know who any of the teachers at New Trier were at the time. But still, it was fun to get my schedule and see what all my classes were, which, by the way, I already knew my classes because I had selected them back in February, I want to say. But yeah, I already knew my classes. I didn't know the order they were going to be in until then, but right there was my list of classes. My freshman year classes consisted of the following. I had a double period science first, which was environmental geoscience. After that, I had public speaking and argumentation. Once that was done, I had lunch. After lunch, I had freshman year English. After that was introduction to journalism. Then I had freshman kinetic wellness. Second year Spanish. And finally, algebra 1. I don't really remember too much beyond that for our first day, but I do remember, again, slowly gaining more confidence in myself and realizing, you know, maybe New Trier isn't going to be as scary as I thought it was. And, quite honestly, it wasn't. Yeah, when I started at New Trier, I had a few stumbles here and there. I lost my way a few times. One time I didn't see a classroom that was sitting right in front of me that I needed to get to, and walked in a few minutes late, and that was kind of embarrassing. But honestly, after the first couple weeks, I had everything down perfectly. I knew New Trier's numbering system, I knew where all the classrooms were, I knew where all the additional areas of the building were. I knew where the computer labs were, the library, the cafeteria, the locker rooms. I knew where everything was. And, quite honestly, by the time I graduated from New Trier in 2007, I feel like I had a pretty good grasp of the campus. And it all started that freshman year way back in August 2003. Yeah. Thanks for watching this video, my friends. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos from me, simply click that subscribe button down below. And be sure to tune in this Saturday when I present a very special video celebrating my 29th birthday. But until then, this is Peter saying see you later.